Hello, welcome to Gold on the Shelf. I'm your host, Stephen Owsley, breaking down excellence in media with depth and wit. And with the Emmys on Sunday, I'm breaking down each category in the Emmys. We've done the drama series, we've done the mini series, and now we're going to do the comedies. I'm very serious about how funny these shows are. So we're going to look at them, I'm going to list them, and then I'm going to break them down from the least amount of nominations to the most amount of nominations. Because when you know who has the most nods, you know pretty much who is going to win. For example, like I broke down in my drama video, which you can go watch, Game of Thrones had a record-breaking 30 nominations this year. Far from the best regarded season. But at the same time, the Academy wants you to tune in and support your show. So sometimes they will give poorly regarded seasons a lot of Emmys just because they want eyeballs on the telecast. Which is, yeah. So, let's get this party started. The nominees for Best Comedy... I'm editing as I'm talking to you. I'm so sorry, YouTube, Internet. And speaking of Internet, Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek fans will know that one. The Good Place, Veep, Fleabag, Russian Doll, Barry, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So, with the least nominations, the first time being nominated in its fourth season is Schitt's Creek with 4. But, what for? It has big nominations. I've broke through, going on Netflix as a streamer, totally turned it around. Schitt's Creek, I think could win because it's become a cultural phenomenon. Gifs of Moira and David are everywhere. I know people that plan to be them for Halloween. It's one of the most streamed shows on Netflix. The new season is so anticipated. It's kind of what happened to Riverdale. Riverdale was almost canceled, but when it went to Netflix, everyone binged it because they didn't have CW, because no one has traditional cable anymore. And then the second season tripled in ratings because everyone had binged it before. I think Schitt's Creek is going to have the same kind of momentum. There's another award I think it could be a lock for, but I don't know. I don't think it'll win Best Comedy, but my heart wants it to win Best Comedy. Then The Good Place. So over its 4 years, and it's not canceled, but it was given its final 5th season. The Good Place has 4 nominations. Ted Danson is 71, which I respect. Same age as Glenn Close. It's weird to think of them as compatriots or peers because they're such different actors in our heads, but they've been at the same craft for about the same time. 6 Good Place nominations total for this year. Veep has 8 this year, but over 6 years, Veep has been nominated for 68 Emmys, winning 17. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has won, I think, 5 Emmys for this role, and it's ridiculous. I think Julia is the person with the most acting Emmys is Cloris Leachman with 8, and I think. Of course, Julia Louis-Dreyfus has some producing nominations for Veep, but I think she's going to soon break Cloris's record for most acting. Allison Janney is right behind her, too, with West Wing and Mom winning her a lot of awards. So Veep, and it's on its way out, final season, could win, just like Game of Thrones. Fleabag, it's the first year it's been nominated. It's been on before, I believe, and it has 11 nominations. Phoebe Waller-Bridge wrote and produced Killing Eve, an amazing drama show, and she wrote and produced and stars in Fleabag. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a very busy industry superstar with a nominated comedy and a nominated drama. That's hard to do. I respect her. I didn't like her voice of the droid in Solo. I thought that was a little step too far. But she makes great television, so here we go. I'm willing to forgive Phoebe Waller-Bridge because her TV is so dang good, as does the Academy of Television. Russian Doll with Natasha Lyonne, 12 nominations this year, and it's a Netflix show, a Netflix comedy. Its first year to have that many nods, very exciting. It's not going anywhere. I think it could be a freshman surprise. Its first season comes in pretty strong. So, but again, I saw some coverage. I've seen some fandom. Maybe I'm not in the right circles to really hear the Russian doll kind of fandom. And this has been talked about with Netflix series. Without regular episodes, people can consume a series in a weekend and then not think about it again because, oh, look, they just put the new season of The Americans, the new season of House of Cards. Oh, Ryan Murphy has a new thing. So sometimes when you dump 12 episodes, it can be great, but then there's no chatter. Ozark has the same problem. So with Netflix, you don't know if anyone cares or is talking about your content. But if Game of Thrones and Succession evolve every week, there's something new to cover in each episode, so potentially. So, 12 nominations, probably a few wins this year. Barry has the show we were waiting for. Bill Hader as an assassin. As an actor assassin. We knew it was coming. It has 16 nominations this year, and some really great ones in the acting categories that you saw in season 1 but are kind of coming to fruition. Barry is kind of the Game of Thrones of the comedy category because Game of Thrones got nominations for its actors. They're well deserved, but there are like 2 supporting actors nominated, 2 or 3 supporting actors nominated, and I just think that having so many nominees in one category really fills up the air in the room. And it could eliminate the opportunity for other nominees. But there were a lot of first-timers. So, again, to recap before we get to number 1, Schitt's Creek had 4 nominations. Good Place had 4 nominations. Veep has 8, but is a heavy hitter. Fleabag, middle of the pack, 11. Russian Doll with 12. Barry, 16. And The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has 19. 33 total in just 2 years. Last year it won 8, which is a record for a comedy. It could win again. The Emmys, the Golden Globes, are so experimental with TV, which is why it's interesting. Jane the Virgin won a Golden Globe, never won an Emmy. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend won an Emmy, or won a Golden Globe. She won an Emmy this year for songwriting, which was kind of cool. But the Emmys often award the same 2 or 3 shows in each category every year, like West Wing or Breaking Bad or Mad Men. Like there are kind of clusters around certain shows, and the Golden Globes don't even nominate the same shows twice in a year or twice every other year. So I think The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel will likely repeat unless Barry takes it. I think Barry could take it. Barry is so well regarded and it's just so funny. It also depends on the voting block for Schitt's Creek or Russian Doll. I would, of course, love... My favorite on there is Schitt's Creek. I don't know. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is so good. And it's a period piece, which none of the others really are. So it's set in the 50s, the costumes, the soundtrack. It's an immersive stand-up experience from the 50s. Fascinating show. And this season talked about the birth of television, and the Academy might not be able to resist that. So, what was your favorite show this year? Have you seen Schitt's Creek? Who's your favorite character in that show? Are you a fan of Fleabag and Phoebe Waller-Bridge? And do you think Russian Doll? I think could be an upset. It's so progressive and so edgy and so autobiographical about Natasha Lyonne's drug abuse. So for her to take her addiction and make it into comedy could just be like an amazing tour de force. Are you a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel fan? Can you not wait to see it win again on all the categories? I think there's a few locks for that show and other places too. So, what do you think? Who do you want to win? Who have you laughed with and enjoyed this year? And are you sad to see The Good Place go? I know I am. It's a fun show. So, comment down below. And again, thank you for watching Gold on the Shelf. And I will be reporting on the acting categories for the next few days as we approach Sunday night's broadcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.